We all go a little mad sometimes.
Get you.
You are under darkness.
Here's Johnny.
All right. Hello and welcome to the Horror Hour, the place where we discuss, debate, and disagree on all things horror. I'm one of the co-hosts here, Yutaka. Hello. And today I'm joined with a guest host, and that would be Jack.
Hello.
Who also has his own YouTube channel that does awards predictions and reviews. So you should go also check that out, and I'll put the links down below. And today I'm excited. So I did get to see a bunch of films at Sundance, and I was able to get to share some of that with some other folks. And so today we are going to review Master. And Master is Mariama Diallo's first feature. And what it is at an elite New England university built on the site of the Salem-era gallows hill. Three women strive to find their place within this school. You've got Gail Bishop, who is played by Regina Hall, who is just instated as Master, a dean of students that discovers what lies behind the school's immaculate facade. And then you follow the first year student Jasmine Moore, played by Zoe Renee, who confronts a new home that is both cold and unwelcoming. And then you have the literature professor, Liv Beckman, played by Amber Gray, that collides with colleagues who question her right to belong. And so part of that then is these individuals are navigating politics, privilege, while they're encountering increasingly terrifying manifestations of the school's haunted past and present. So with that, let's first start off with some of the things we enjoyed. I'll go ahead and first say I loved Regina Hall's performance.
Yes.
That was phenomenal. I also think Mariama did an incredible job in terms of the writing. I felt that it was definitely, this to me, I will say, was straight up horror. It may not have had all the blood, the violence or anything, but what it had was just this sheer sense of terror that continued throughout the film, but slowly started to build up with each either microaggression or even blatant racism that these characters faced. And I found that to be very just eye-opening, and it was interesting because I will even say I related to Jasmine a little bit, because I did like the part where, you're going into a school unknown, you're clearly at the school, which is primarily white, and so that's already putting her somewhat on edge. And you want to be the cool kid, or you want to fit in, make friends, because you're in a new environment and isolation can be hell. And so you kind of let things slide. And for me, when I first ventured into nursing school, that didn't become my profession, I remember I was given a nickname, and at the time I laughed it off, thought it was funny, even though it was very wrong. And my nickname was Jaundice. So in case they were essentially calling me Yellow. So that was something new. And so when I started to see things happen to Jasmine in this, it just brought some of that back and gave me a different perspective. And so I can tell you throughout this entire film, it was like 85 minutes of me just having anxiety for all the characters. So these are some of the things that I really found great about this film. How about yourself?
Yes, well, I can't really quite relate because I am white.
Yeah,
but,
of course.
But I would start off saying I do think I agree with you. Regina Hall gave it an incredible performance here. I haven't seen a ton of her films, but probably one of the best performances I've seen from her. And I also thought Zoe Renee and Amber Gray were both good, very good. I thought those three performances all together really carried the film.
Yes.
And I agree also, Mariama Diallo, the direction and the writing were both really well done here, especially the direction. And I thought it was a really well done horror movie too. I think I wish it almost relied more on the realistic horror, just the horror of just racism, blatant or aggressive racism in real life. I found that much more terrifying and intriguing than more of the genre horror stuff. But I do think the genre horror stuff was well done.
Yeah, I can kind of agree with that. I loved that subplot of, the witch, but I found what was most terrifying was just some of the things that these characters faced. I think one of the scene that just it left me like my jaw hit the floor was Jasmine at the house party, and the music came on and she had to sit there and listen to all these. I mean, my heart just like, oh my God. I was like, I just want to be like, get out of there. This is, oh my God. And of course, she wants to be there and she wants to fit in. And there were just those things that happened were done so well. And that was to me, all those scenes were the most terrifying. And then I will say this, hands down, this was one of my favorite films at Sundance. So I really find very little that I didn't like. I would say, actually, even though I may not have enjoyed the witch subplot, I did love when we did get to see those genre scenes, because there was that time Zoe's walking down the hall and that guy's face was clearly, at first it's like, oh, okay. And then like, oh no.
Something's wrong.
Yeah. So I think the direction on this was fantastic. So it's obviously, it's not a perfect film. Because again, I think there were just maybe a few elements, but even that, this was my favorite film of Sundance. So I'm trying to think of something that I could say that people might not like, but I find that very hard, because I will say, even with the twist at the end that sounds somewhat divisive, I was still invested the entire time. I didn't move. I just focused on the film. So, I mean, were there any things that you didn't like? I know there's probably a few, as I have a background of something in the dirt. I'm sorry, guys, I wasn't prepared on that.
It's okay. You can barely notice. For negatives for me, I don't have a ton either. I was, like you said, invested all the way through. With that twist at the end, there are a few different twists, so I would just say the one that happens with the other teachers and headmasters in that place, without spoiling stuff. That one didn't quite work for me. I understood what they were going for with what was happening, but it felt like it didn't connect and relate to the rest of the movie and what the rest of the movie was exploring as much. I think if they wanted to explore that, they maybe should have laid the seeds for it a little earlier, or
That's
I don't know,
fair.
it didn't feel like it fit with the rest of the stuff. I felt like it was a interesting topic to delve into, but it just didn't feel like it necessarily needed to be there.
Absolutely. I could kind of see that. I wouldn't say it completely came out of left field, because I felt there were some scenes I think that were kind of leading up to it, but you didn't get there until like when the end, and you're like, oh. But for me, I was still shocked, because I have to say, like I said, there's very little. I think it also did a very great job, because I did like the literature professor, also in the summary too, where she's consistently being compared to all her other peers. And so she has to fight to show that she belongs at this university and she deserves tenure. And it was very interesting to see that storyline play out as well. But overall, I mean, if I were to give this, I would certainly then, since we're going to go number score now, because I found out we should stick with that, I would actually honestly give this a 9 out of 10 for me.
I would probably, I would say, I don't know if you do half points. So if
not, go for it.
I would say an 8.5 out of 10 would be my rating.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I mean, I hope everyone actually sees this. It was already purchased by Amazon, so it does come out March 18th. And I thank you, Jack, for reviewing it with me. And I'm glad you got to see it, because
thank you.
this was a really great film, guys.
Really good.
It was pure horror in my opinion, and I just, I love horror, but this one really freaked me the hell out. And it should, because if it doesn't, then I'm more concerned about you as a person if you get my drift. But
this is the kind of horror I like too, where it's not just like the genre-y stuff or like just a straight up slasher. There's like more deep stuff that they're exploring too.
Yeah, there were the social commentary. I also, again, I have to say the acting in this was
really
phenomenal. Like, I will say it takes I very rarely will shed a tear at a film. That's just me. And I still didn't for this one per se. After the film though, I started to sit and I started to think on like Regina Hall's, her character's big moment. And I shed a few tears because I was like, damn, no, I was a little gutted. And it was, and to
very
me, that's
realistic.
I was just like, wow, okay, this film got me. It still sits with me. And I hope to see more from this director. And I hope this movie really, I know genre's not, or horror is just really not well awarded. And because it's going to be marginal, probably forgotten about. But I hope something comes out of this because I do think it was really well made. And again, for a first time, for a debut feature, it didn't feel like that. This felt like something that was seasoned. And it was, But with that, I'll say again, thank you to Jack. I will put all his channel information and all that down below. Go watch it because he didn't like being the Ricardos, and I stand that. Yeah.
Or Belfast.
Of course, or Belfast. All right. And with that, just want to say thanks, everyone, and bye.
You have been listening to the Horror Hour. See you next time.